that's necessary. So we want to welcome today, our keynote speaker on today is Nicole D. Miller. And Nicole is our member spotlight, our paid member spotlight. Hello, Nicole.
Hi, Robin. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Glad to see you.
Definitely blessed to be here, to be in your presence. Did you want me to just share?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, some of you guys know I started my journey blogging. It's really interesting because I never saw myself as a real writer. And it's probably only the last couple of years that I've really moved into that and had to shift my mindset, even though I've had my books out for a while. But because I worked in corporate and got my degree in business, my mindset was more tunnel focused on that. And the writing was something of a hobby, and it was a release for me to share my walk with God, share my life experiences. And so I started blogging at betternwine.net, which is still available. And then I wrote a blog post called How to Overcome Heartbreak, Recovering from Misguided Love. That specific post reached a lot of people. So many people had that shared experience of dealing with a breakup and healing from that. And God just told me that's the name of your first book. So I released the book in 2014, How to Overcome Heartbreak, Recovering from Misguided Love. And that started my journey on becoming a self-published author. I used CreateSpace, which was the Amazon self-publishing company. Now it's KDP. And I let them do the cover and the interior design and everything, the editing. And it was a one-stop shop, which was great for me because I was just getting my feet wet. And so probably within another year, I wrote the sequel, How to Overcome Heartbreak, Stories That Heal. And so I interviewed 7 women and 4 men, and I share more of myself. So both of those books were nonfiction. They definitely were divine. And I think there's still more fruit that's going to come from that. But I stopped writing per se for a few years. My mom passed, and I was just dealing with grief and trauma. And during that time, I couldn't read any material that was like nonfiction. I couldn't really read anything that was heavy per se. And I just needed an escape. So I started reading fiction books. But I didn't know God was setting me up and that He was stirring up the gift in me to be able to write fiction. And it was during the pandemic that I sat down and I had started some short stories a while back. And I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and start this back up. And it was such a casual thought. Like now I'm like, wow, that was so pivotal. But back then it was just like, yeah, let me just start this back up because I have time and availability. I started writing more of the short stories. And there was an opportunity for unagented Black authors to submit their work to a traditional publishing company. Due to the injustices happening and right after George Floyd, people want to hear Black stories. And we definitely have an ear right now to the public for that. So I jumped on it because it kept coming to me. The opportunity kept coming to me and I knew it was God. There was a lady who actually was a bestseller on Amazon who I connected with, and she helped me get my query letter together. So I started doing all these things on track to submit this new book that I was putting together called Stories for the Urban Soul, which was a compilation of short stories depicting Black characters intertwining faith and culture. And so I started doing that thinking, this is the door, God has set me up. Interestingly enough, it wasn't, but what I think God did was He was getting me ready because there was a deadline that I had to meet to submit my work. And because that deadline was that year, it was like, I got to have all my ducks in a row. If I didn't have that deadline, I would have just been moseying along like I had been with my writing. I didn't see myself pushing another book out at that point. But because the deadline was there, it forced me to get my stuff together. And in lieu of waiting for that, I basically had the editor, go through it. And after a few months, realized I'm going to end up self-publishing this. And so I released Stories for the Urban Soul last May in 2021. And that's when everything changed. I started taking my writing more seriously. I had a website out there, but it was more towards how to overcome heartbreak and less about me as an author. But God was like, nope, you're going to write more books. This is not just how to overcome heartbreak. This is Nicole D. Miller, the author. You're going to build a brand. So that's what's been happening for the last less than a year, like 9-10 months. It's been about building the brand. It's been about marketing and branding. It's been about networking. In the process, I released my ebook, Self-Publishing 101, Everything You Need to Know from One Author to Another. So now it's growing and I'm switching gears to where it's not just me writing, I'm helping other people write. I'm in the midst of helping someone publish. So I am becoming a hybrid publisher. And I'm going to be releasing that within the next month or two. I'm offering editing services, one-on-one coaching on my website to do a 45-minute consultation to help you take the next steps in self-publishing. And then, of course, we can discuss potential publishing services. So all of these things are happening in the midst of me writing my first novel, which I hope will be done and released by the summer. I'll probably be doing a pre-sale and then publishing in the fall. These are all of the things that are on my heart with writing. I also have a bookkeeping company. So I do bookkeeping for small business owners. I record financial transactions using QuickBooks and do taxes. And it's tax time right now. So that's a thing. But I'm a full-time entrepreneur. It's totally been a God thing. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I like the safety of a 9-to-5. I'm risk averse is what I say. However, when you know the one that's going to catch you, you can make the leap, right? So it's definitely been a spiritual faith by faith journey. I'm surrounded by people like yourselves who get it, who are in it. And I have great community members and networking people who were all out here manifesting, God's desires and dreams in these businesses. And so I don't know what's next, but I know these are the things on my plate right now. And it just keeps growing. And so I'm just honored to be a part of Akron Summit Scribes. I'm honored to have utilized your resources, the mentors, the support, and even just this opportunity to share because we're all at different stages. And I just know my story was like, I started off as a blogger. I never saw myself as an author. And now this is like a full-time thing. So.
Awesome. Thank